We're now starting Module 3, Addition and Subtraction of Fractions, starting with Topic A, Lesson 1, which has to do with equivalent fractions. So first thing is, what is a fraction? And we have to remember that fractions are pieces of a whole. An equal piece of a whole. We need to know what the whole is, and the pieces must be equal. So we also have to remember that the top part of a fraction is called the numerator. And the bottom part of a fraction is called the denominator. A way for some people to remember it that might get confused is that the denominator starts with a D and it's down underneath. They both start with D. If you're down and you're the denominator. What does each of these pieces tell us? So we're going to start with the denominator. What does the denominator tell us? The denominator tells us the total amount of equal pieces. In the whole. And the numerator tells us the answer to whatever the question is that's being asked. For example, if I ask, what is the fraction of boys in the class? If there is 12 boys out of the 25 students, then the numerator of 12 tells me the answer to the question. If I ask how many pieces are shaded, the answer to that goes in the numerator. Some fraction examples, we can have 5/8, we can have 7/4, we can have 3/3. Sometimes we write things like this with 12/8. When we want to draw, it is usually the easiest thing to do is to draw rectangles. So we're splitting this into 3 pieces. And we're shading in 1. In this case over here, we're splitting into 5 pieces. And we're shading in 4. This time we're shading in, not shading, we're splitting into 8 equal pieces. And we're shading in 6 of them. Sometimes then we have to take numbers and put them on a number line. When we're putting them on a number line, we need to pay attention to how the number line goes. In this case, we have a 0 here and a 2 all the way on the end. Well, when I look at this fraction, I know this fraction is less than 1. I know that because 1 whole would be the same numerator as denominator. So I would have 4/4. This number is less than the 4, so it tells me it's less than 1. So I know that I have to go between 0 and 1. So now I look and the 4 tells me to split it up into 4 equal pieces. 4 equal pieces means to draw 3 lines, which will give me then 4 pieces. 1 piece here, 1 piece here, 1 piece here, and 1 piece here. And I want to go to the third line. 1, 2, 3. I draw a point and I label it 3/4. If the numerator is less than the denominator, so this is less than the denominator, the fraction is less than 1. In this case, this is bigger than the denominator, so it is not less than 1. If I want to make all of these equal to 1, I always need the same numerator as denominator, and that's how I make a number equal to 1. So now if I want to plot 3/6, the 3 here is smaller than the 6, so I know it's less than 1, so I know this is where I'm ending. I want to split it into 6 pieces. And I want to go to the third piece. 1, 2, 3. Mark it off. And I have 3/6. This one is 2/5. I see that the 2 is smaller than the 5, so I know it's less than 1. So I know once again I'm only going to here. I know I need 5 pieces. So it's 4 lines because I need 5 pieces, and I want to go the second line. And I have 2/5. This time I have 6/8. The 6 here is smaller than the 8, so I know it's less than 1. I'm splitting into 8 pieces. And I want to go to the 6th line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mark it off, and I have 6/8. Next is 1/4. I see the 1 in the numerator right here is less than the 4 in the denominator, so it's less than 1, so I'm only going to here. I'm splitting it up into 4 pieces because it's out of fourths. 4 pieces means 3 equal lines. And I'm going to the first spot, so this is 1/4. Next we have 2/5. So it's less than 1, so I'm splitting it up into fifths. And the second line tells me 2/5. Next one is a little different. We now have 1 and 2/5. So since we have this 1 here, it's telling me I have to go past the 1. And then I'm going to split up into fifths. I can split each section, but fifths is between each whole number. So I'm going between this 1 and this 2 because I'm greater than 1. And I'm going to split it into fifths. And I want 2 of the fifths. And that would be 1 and 2/5. Sometimes I'm going to plot on a number line 2 things. So in this case, I'm going to plot 1/2. So when I look at this, I know it's less than 1. Here's the 1. I'm splitting it into 2 pieces. So this is 1 piece, and this is 2 pieces. So the first piece right here is 1/2. Now I'm going to look at the 3/6, and I'm going to split it into 6 pieces. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. And I want the third one, which is right here. And I see that 3/6 and 1/2 are at the same spot, so they are equal. Another way to look at this is to look right here, and I can see I have 1/3. I'm going to take my 1/3 and make an equivalent fraction and see what I can multiply to get me to 2/6. So 1 times what will give me 2? Well, the answer to that is 2. And then I look at 3 times what will give me 6? And it's also 2. And I look at 2 over 2, and that's 1 whole, so it's just like the same equivalent fraction, because I have 1/3 times 1 is 2/6, so these two are equal. How can I make an equivalent fraction? Well, the easiest thing to do in order to make an equivalent fraction is that I can multiply or divide the numerator and the denominator by the same number, which is like multiplying by 1. So here's an example. If I have 1/4 and I want to make an equivalent fraction, all I need to do, I'm going to pick a number. I want to pick 5. And 1 times 5 is 5, and 4 times 5 is 20. So 5/20 and 1/4 are equivalent. So here I have 2/3. I'm going to pick any 2 numbers, but the same for the numerator and the denominator. So I want to pick 2 this time. Doesn't matter what I pick. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 2 is 6. I have 4/6. 2/3 and 4/6 are equivalent fractions. This is the same process. I can pick any number I want. I'm going to multiply this by 3 and this by 3. And I end up having 12/21. This time I want to multiply by 4 over 4, and I end up with 8/20. I'm going to try 2 now. It doesn't matter what number, they're all correct. And I have 18/20. So 9/10 and 18/20 are equivalent because it's really like multiplying by 1. 1/14, I'm going to multiply it by 2. It's my easiest one to do. It's 2/28. So 1/14 is equivalent to 2/28. And this is equivalent fractions and number lines.